Hello everybody, hope you're doing fantastically well. Sorry for the variety of locations at the minute. I am in my new flat in Harrogate, so it is a little bit nightmarish at the minute. I haven't got my mic with me, I haven't got my camera with me, so I'm doing everything off my phone, but I literally want to present you guys with videos every single day, so apologies for that. I'm trying my absolute best. As you can see, there's been videos every single day even without the equipment. But what I'd like to say as well is Generation Leeds with my dad is becoming a bit of a problem in terms of everything that's going on at the minute. It's mental, my life. So we will be getting that back to a full schedule. Don't worry, it is going to be back on every single week. When it is the off season, it's a little bit more difficult because we're just talking about transfers. We're not talking about performances. But I will get my dad back on side. The lucky git's going to Glastonbury though next week, so we'll try and get one recorded before then, but I can't promise anything. So yeah, stick with me with Generation Leeds. It is coming. It is going to be a weekly thing, 100%. So don't worry about that. Me and my dad have got a lot to talk about. So listen, guys, as well, massive support on the Patreon. There's over 100 members now. I put out a video yesterday, which was a Mark Rocker profile. I know a lot of you guys wanted that. I get suggestions from you lot on the Patreon, and I do 2 videos per week because I feel like I want to give something back to you guys for investing, for being shareholders in the One Leeds Fan Channel. So thank you so much, and thank you to everybody who watches the videos anyway who isn't a Patreon member. You're all worth an absolute abundance to me, so thank you so much. We're back here with the rumour mill. We're back here with a few discussion points. A lot of you guys might be getting a little bit bored. A lot of you guys might want me to be coming on here and saying Leeds are signing a certain striker or Leeds are doing this, that and the other. I can only tell you what is on the rumour mill. I sometimes get people getting really frustrated that I'm not coming on here and breaking news that Leeds have signed a striker for 25 million. That's not what the rumour mill is about. It's to discuss rumours, it's to have debate, it's subjective opinion. So get your thoughts in the comment section below and let's have an interactive debate. So straight off the bat, it's a done deal for Mark Rocker. It looks like that's going to be signed, sealed and delivered on Friday, maybe even Thursday actually. It was supposed to be later on this week. Great news, really good news for Leeds United. As I've said, I've done a player profile if you guys want to check it out on the Patreon. A nice balance to the midfield. We'll get onto the midfield in a little bit. But listen, it's exciting news because I think Mark Rocker is going to fit this Leeds side really, really nicely. And as I say, I've done an in-depth chat on him on the Patreon account. So yeah, really good signing, I think. I was a little bit worried about him at the start in terms of the Junior Firpo, the Rodrigos, the players who we bought from big clubs who haven't actually delivered on the big stage for Leeds United. But with this one, I think the pedigree of Mark Rocker is the fact that he's already had 100 professional appearances for Espanyol. He was pretty much on the brink of getting into the starting 11 for the Spanish side. He is already proven. He's already signed, sealed and delivered when it comes to what he's done in the game. I did feel with Junior Firpo that it was still more of a project, seeing how it goes. This is a risk-averse signing. When you look at the fee, when you look at what he's done in his career, I always felt Junior Firpo, after the first 2 or 3 games, after watching him, was never going to work at Leeds United. And I can understand why there's a few people out there who were a little bit nervous about Junior Firpo from the start, whereas Mark Rocker, even from the Spanish and German side, there seems to be a lot of confidence that he'll do well for Leeds United, so that's positive news. Some medical signings on Friday. Allegedly in January, when Leeds were desperately in need for a striker, we rejected the New York City FC striker, who we are now apparently interested in, Tati Castellanos. Apparently Burnley and Leeds rejected Castellanos. I wouldn't take too much from that because when you're looking at a player profile, Tati does not fit the Burnley way at all. I know a lot of people reference Vidra as maybe a little bit of a comparative, but he's not really anything like Matej Vidra, very different striker, just similar in terms of his stature, physical presence. But, Burnley were always going to go for a big lad, someone who can hold the ball up, and Wout Weghorst was that guy. Didn't work out for them in the end. But with regards to Leeds United being offered him, that is strange for me, especially when you're in a position of desperate need. New York City FC probably knew that they could sell him on for a decent fee to Leeds United in the January window, maybe even an inflated fee. And maybe Leeds thought to themselves, we're going to wait on. And that was just more negligence in January. Tati Castellanos would have come in and even under Bielsa in that period, I know it wasn't for long, but I feel like he'd have done a decent job. Maybe would have been able to bring a little bit more quality to the offensive structure, get a couple of goals, grab a couple of assists. But we didn't do that. And Leeds struggled. And it just shows the negligence of the board from January onwards. But yeah, massive news that apparently Leeds rejected him, which I thought was staggering news. Okay, we're going to get on to Kalvin because there's a lot to talk about with Kalvin. So as of today, Phil Hay and Sam Lee of the Manchester side of things have done sort of a joint article, I believe it is, on The Athletic. And as I was saying to you guys the other day, I do thoroughly believe Kalvin is going to leave for Manchester City. Now it's all about the contingency plans, the recruitment strategy for when he does leave. But allegedly, City visualised closing an agreement of 45 to 50 million. And there is confidence in Manchester that Phillips would push to take the opportunity to join them if presented. Something I've said now for 2 or 3 weeks. Everybody, Leeds fans, I don't know why they're coming on and saying, oh, he's a Leeds lad, he's going to stay. It doesn't matter if he's a Leeds lad. Jack Grealish was a Villa lad. It doesn't matter. If you can present someone with a better standard of life, even to the standard of life he has now, you can present someone with trophies, and you can present someone with playing with the best players in the world, he's going to go. Every sane person would go. So I would never hold it against Kalvin Phillips. I know that it's going to happen. I thought 60 million was too much. I thought it was inflated, to be quite honest with you. I'm seeing Leeds fans saying 100 million. I don't know what you're smoking. I have no idea what you're smoking. There is absolutely no chance that with his injury record, with his age, with his performances, in my opinion, toward the latter end of the season, going down the drain a little bit, Man City are going to come in with 90 or 100 million. There's just absolutely no chance. And he's not worth that, in my opinion. He's just not worth that. There's some Leeds fans who are holding way too much sentiment to it. In the market value, for me, Kalvin Phillips is probably worth 50 million. So this doesn't surprise me whatsoever. City have extremely good negotiators. They sold Ferran Torres to Barcelona for 55 million quid. This lot know exactly what they're doing. Brought in Julian Alvarez for an incredible fee as well. Erling Haaland was brought in for less than Darwin Núñez. This lot are a problem when it comes to recruitment, when it comes to bringing in players. Liverpool and Man City are at the top of the tree when it comes to strategy, negotiation. So they will be doing everything they can to get Kalvin for a cheaper fee, throwing in Liam Delap, offering instalments for years and years to come. So Leeds get a lower initial fee. So there's a lot to consider here, and this is where Victor Orta, this is where Andrea Radrizzani, this is where the whole team needs to come together here and say, look, this is our prized asset. We can't go lower than this. It can't be instalments over the next 4 or 5 years. It's got to be a mass fee right now. That's what it's got to be, and that's what I'm a little bit worried about, because this recruitment team haven't filled me with any confidence over the past 3 years. So we'll have to wait and see with that one, but Kalvin being excited to join them doesn't surprise me at all. It doesn't surprise me, and I would never hold that against him. So on the back of that, there's been rumours on City forums and this, that, and the other, and it's hearsay, isn't it? It's buying houses, and you guys might think this is a bit frivolous and a bit up in the air, pie in the sky. But allegedly, he's bought a house in Cheshire. Now, there's a lot of people on Twitter saying, well, I've got a house in Cheshire. It doesn't mean I'm playing for Man City. The difference is if you've recently bought a house in Cheshire and you've evidently been in contact with Manchester City, or Man City have evidently been in contact with Leeds United as a club, there might be assurances behind the scenes. Erling Haaland would have bought a house in probably Cheshire 3 months ago, knowing that City were going to make that move and it was going to be finalised. Players make preparation. This is all hearsay, as I've just said, but on the City forums, there's a lot of people saying it, just behind the scenes as well. Phillips could have just bought a house. It could be a nice summer home. Could be a nice home for him, who knows? And he might not have even bought the house. It's all rumours, as I've just said, but, this is the rumour mill, and that's what we're here to talk about. Now, on the back of this, and we've spoken about this before, so we know from Phil Hay, and Phil said this in his article this morning, that Mark Rocker is not a direct replacement for Kalvin Phillips, which is good to hear. It's good to know. But this is a bit of a problem. Fabrizio Romano, probably the most trusted journalist in my opinion on the network. Fabrizio is with the volume of tweets he puts out about transfers and rumours. The amount he gets right is staggering. Absolutely staggering. So yeah, he's the best on the network for me, miles ahead of anyone. Leeds are exploring the option of the Tyler Adams transfer from Leipzig. He will definitely be leaving this summer. Now, this is something we've spoken about before. We know he's leaving. We know he wants to play in the Premier League. I'm worried about this one. If this is the direct replacement for Kalvin Phillips, we've got a problem. And when you look at it tactically, Mark Rocker can compensate for Kalvin's distribution. Mark Rocker can compensate for Kalvin's ability to press. Mark Rocker can substitute a lot of Kalvin Phillips' good attributes, and that's maybe what Jesse Marsch is thinking. That's maybe what Victor Orta's thinking. Maybe Tyler Adams and Mark Rocker is the balance where Tyler Adams is sort of the destroyer and Mark Rocker is the elegant football player. That makes sense. That does make sense. But in the Premier League, for me, partnering Mark Rocker with a Tyler Adams who has never played in the Premier League before, several people have said that he's not worth that level. He's not. How do I put this nicely? He's not that sort of player where he's going to come into the Premier League and light it up straight away. He's not a ball carrier. He's in the press, he's okay. Possession, he's poor. And he's a ball winner. That's what he is. A steady defensive midfield ball winner. So if that's what Leeds are looking for, fair enough. I think we need a little bit more in the Premier League. Depends what we're trying to do, right? If we want Mark Rocker in there and Tyler Adams in there, they merge together and make sort of a Kalvin Phillips, right? But the problem is, if Leeds want to evolve in the Premier League, if we want to progress in the Premier League, we need two very, very good defensive midfielders in there. That can maybe be versatile and play in a central midfield spot as well. So it's all up in the air. I think bringing in a ball winner for Kalvin Phillips and hoping that Mark Rocker is able to transition into the Premier League without getting any injuries, seamlessly, playing a lot of games, and showing the attributes that Kalvin Phillips showed week in, week out, is a little bit of pressure, to be quite honest with you. But we'll have to wait and see. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, guys. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Would Tyler Adams be a good replacement for you, or do you think it's a little bit up in the air? Guys, I'll see you in a bit. Cheers.